Hi, everyone, and welcome to a live interaction with NOAA's Office of National Marine Sanctuaries and Exploring by the Seat of Your Pants. Today, we are going to explore the blue with Sanctuaries 360. This program will begin promptly at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you are having trouble with the audio, please use the information on your screen now. Hi, everyone, and welcome to Exploring by the Seat of Your Pants and NOAA's Office of National Marine Sanctuaries live interaction. Today, we are going to explore the blue with Sanctuaries 360. I'm going to turn it over to Joe Grabowski from Exploring by the Seat of Your Pants to give us some more information about how today's live interaction is going to go. Good morning, Joe.
All right. Well, good morning, Hannah. Great to see you and great to see everybody who's jumping into the live interaction now. As Hannah mentioned, my name is Joe Grabowski and I run an organization called Exploring by the Seat of Your Pants. So I'm just going to share that with you briefly before we get into the event. So if you check out exploringbytheseat.com, we bring science, adventure, exploration, and conservation live into classrooms across North America and around the world, generally running 30 to 50 live events a month. Since schools did close in March, we've been broadcasting all of our events live into the homes of educators, parents, and students across North America, sometimes up to 3 to 4 live events a day. So as you scroll down the website, the most important part right here where you can sign up for the newsletter. Every week we send out updates with the events that are coming up and how you can register and sign up. And then just to give you a little taste of what's coming up, over the next few days, we're celebrating World Ocean Week. We've had some events this morning, but coming up this afternoon, you can go on a deep sea dive with biologist Diva Amon. You can head to Norway to explore the kelp forest tomorrow at 9 a.m. Eastern, and then we're heading to the Toronto Zoo for some turtle action. So lots of great events coming up that you can check out. So as we start to move closer into this event, we're going to be doing some live interactions during the event, and you can get in on the action using Slido. So if you've never used Slido before, it's a spot where you can send us some questions. You can upvote other people's questions to the top, but you can also take part in some interactive quizzes and some interactive polls and word cloud questions. So you can head to it in multiple ways. You can go to sli.do, so sly.do. We'll bring you there. It'll ask you for an event code. Today it's really simple, 360, so 360. So that's one way to get in. You can also use the direct link, which I'm going to drop into the chat bar in just a moment, and that'll take you right in. Or if your phone is handy and you want to take part on your phone, you can scan this QR code right up here at the top. Quick scan will take you in there as well. So we'll give another second or two in case anyone's making that scan, but we'd love to see you joining in the Slido and making things a little interactive today. So I'm going to come back from that screen share now. So many of you may know already, but on World Ocean Day, NOAA's Office of National Marine Sanctuaries launched Sanctuaries 360. So a collection of immersive underwater experiences to bring these exceptional places to viewers all over the world. So we're pretty excited today to be joining Hannah MacDonald and Nick Zachar from NOAA's Office of National Marine Sanctuaries, and they're going to bring us on a little virtual tour of the underwater parks with Sanctuaries 360. So this live interaction will connect us with information on what the National Marine Sanctuaries are, and we'll also dive into the Hawaiian Islands Humpback Whale National Marine Sanctuary. We'll learn about how the film team captures and creates these amazing immersive experiences. So I'm going to throw things back to Hannah, Education Specialist with the Office of National Marine Sanctuaries. Back to you for a bit, Hannah.
Thank you, Joe. We're excited to be here. So it's, again, myself, the Education Specialist for NOAA's Office of National Marine Sanctuaries, and Nick Zachar, the filmmaker for NOAA's Office of National Marine Sanctuaries, who will be speaking with you today. And we are so excited to not only give you a virtual tour of our sanctuaries, but add a little bit of virtual reality and 360 media in that. So we're going to begin with a tour of our National Marine Sanctuary system. Here we have our network of National Marine Sanctuaries, which encompasses 14 sanctuaries and 2 marine national monuments. We are going to start in Olympic Coast National Marine Sanctuary in the most northwest corner of continental United States. Oh, but first, I want to remind you that this is interactive, and like Joe said, we're going to be using Slido. So I want to know how many of you are watching this live stream with other people, and if so, how many? So Joe has set up the Slido, and he's dropped the link in the chat if you missed the QR code or typing the link in when he explained it. So for easiest access now, click the link in the chat to answer this question.
All right, excellent. So I can see the results as they're starting to come in. Looks like we've got groups of 1, groups of 2, and I know a few classrooms are starting to get back together a little bit in some areas. So we do have a group of 9 tuning in today as well.
That's great to hear. Awesome. And so our next Slido question, which should also be up on your screen, is have you heard of NOAA's National Marine Sanctuaries before?
All right, I want to give a couple seconds, Hannah, because I can see the numbers coming up really quickly. I think people are starting to find the room. Remember, the link for the room is in the chat section as well, sli.do. If you put that into your address bar, it'll bring you to the website, and then the event code is 360. And we have a group of 79% who say, yep, they've heard of the sanctuaries before.
That's great. The number has only increased since we've started our partnership, so that is great. Maybe we have some routine viewers. So we are going to start with, like I said, Olympic Coast National Marine Sanctuary, located off the coast of Washington, the most northwest part of continental United States. Here we see a sea star protected in a tide pool ecosystem in Olympic Coast National Marine Sanctuary. Going further south, in California, we have Greater Farallones National Marine Sanctuary, where you'll see elephant seals on the beach. Touching Greater Farallones National Marine Sanctuary, we have Cordell Bank National Marine Sanctuary, which protects deep sea ecosystems like these corals. And we also have, in Northern California, Monterey Bay National Marine Sanctuary. This is quite the hotspot for some of the greatest deep sea ocean exploration finds, like this brooding octopus garden. Going further south in California, we have Channel Islands National Marine Sanctuary. Located 25 miles off the coast of Santa Barbara, Channel Islands protects some of the most lush kelp forest ecosystems in the world. This is one of the sites that we also have a 360 video of. Going further west into the Pacific, we have Papahanaumokuakea Marine National Monument, which happens to be the largest marine conservation area in the world. Also out in the Pacific, we have Hawaiian Islands Humpback Whale National Marine Sanctuary, which we are going to learn all about today through our latest 360 video. We also have the National Marine Sanctuary of American Samoa. Now this sanctuary is especially cool because it protects Big Mama, which happens to be the longest living and largest coral head known in the ocean. Back to continental United States, we have Flower Garden Banks National Marine Sanctuary, 100 miles off the shore of Galveston, Texas. Here you see a manta ray in this sanctuary. Going down to Florida, we have Florida Keys National Marine Sanctuary, which protects the reef tract south of Miami all the way down to Dry Tortugas National Park. Up off of Georgia, we have Gray's Reef National Marine Sanctuary, which protects a live bottom reef ecosystem. And further north, off the coast of North Carolina, we have Monitor National Marine Sanctuary. Now this sanctuary is especially cool because it was the very first National Marine Sanctuary designated, and it protects the USS Monitor, which is a Civil War era shipwreck. Following Monitor, we have Mallows Bay Potomac River National Marine Sanctuary, which is in Maryland in the Potomac River. And this is unique. We're going from the very first sanctuary monitor to Mallows Bay Potomac River, which was the last designated sanctuary just in November of 2019. Also protecting maritime heritage. In this photo, you see partially submerged shipwrecks from the Ghost Fleet. Looks like it's a great place to paddle and see maritime heritage up close. Going further north in Massachusetts Bay, we have Stellwagen Bank National Marine Sanctuary, which is known for incredible whale watching and bird watching. And all the way in the Great Lakes in Michigan, we have Thunder Bay National Marine Sanctuary, which protects over 200 shipwrecks. So now that we've done our brief photo virtual tour, have you ever visited a National Marine Sanctuary before? Now this question is again in Slido. The link is in the chat if you have not opened it up yet.
All right. Split today, 52% say they have been lucky enough, but 48% are still waiting for their first opportunity.
Awesome. Well, we will take a virtual dive today, so maybe you can check that box with our virtual dive today. And now that we've done a tour, I want to tell you a little bit more about what the National Marine Sanctuary System does. So the National Marine Sanctuary System encompasses over 600,000 square miles of marine waters. We protect things from sea giants like this humpback whale in Monterey Bay to small sea life like corals, reef fish, and we'll even get to see a sea turtle today. We are protecting places with abundant biodiversity. These places are very special marine ecosystems. We're providing shelter for some of the most charismatic marine species, like the endangered Hawaiian monk seal and the green sea turtle. And we're protecting maritime heritage, like the USS Monitor and Monitor National Marine Sanctuary, the Ghost Fleet and Mallows Bay, and over 200 shipwrecks like the one you see here in Thunder Bay National Marine Sanctuary. So these places are providing resource protection so that these places are available for generations to come. Through programs like this and education and outreach initiatives across the system, we work to educate people across the world about the importance of the National Marine Sanctuary System. These are our special marine places. There are places to paddle, there are ours to fish in, ours to snorkel in, to boat in, and to surf in. So I want to know what National Marine Sanctuary you want to visit in 360. We have 4 videos so far and a collection of photos in 360, but we're working on building out our collection. So now that you know the places, I would love to know which one you would highly like to see in 360. And again, this is on Slido. The link is in the chat.
Okay, so we do have a word cloud open and it's starting to be filled in right now. So while I give a little time for some of those responses, I do want to remind those tuning in that we do have another word cloud poll coming up, but also that you can use this as a spot to send in your questions. So in the Slido room, you can send in some questions. If you see your question has already been asked or one that you really like, you can upvote it. And that way some of the best questions get to the top. But of course, we'll take questions from the Q&A bar in this event right in the GoToWebinar as well. So we've got about 50 responses so far. They're still ticking up, Hannah, so I'm going to give them another second.
All right, and I will share the word cloud on my webcam if you're able to see it through my phone. I'm quite fascinated with what we're finding so far. So far, I see Thunder Bay is the most, also Florida Keys and Hawaii. And so out of those three of the 4 videos are Florida Keys, Thunder Bay, and Hawaii. So and I'm seeing all of the other sites. This is really great to see. So with that, the sanctuaries are all yours. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Nick Zachar, our filmmaker, to talk about the next part of this presentation.
Awesome. Thank you, Hannah and Joe. So for the past year or so, we've been diving in literally to the world of virtual reality filmmaking. So it's been a long time in the making. We are We are doing this so that the American public and others around the world can see these amazing places without physically having to travel there or even getting wet. We are excited to share the launch of our VR series, Sanctuaries 360. Let's go on a Hawaiian adventure. And so the video that we're about to show is pre-recorded. So it's not the same experience you would have if you go to our website and check it out. So we'll put the link in the chat so that you can go and experience this for yourself, along with the other 3 videos after the webinar. So Hannah and Joe, let's dive into Hawaiian Islands Humpback Whale National Marine Sanctuary.
Welcome to your Hawaiian Islands Humpback Whale National Marine Sanctuary. During the winter months, humpback whales journey to the warm waters surrounding the Hawaiian Islands. Off in the deep blue, you may hear the haunting songs of these iconic giants. The waters within the sanctuary are also home to extraordinary ecosystems and marine life. Look for the white-tipped reef shark swimming along the reef. Sharks play a crucial role as apex predators in keeping Hawaii's coral reef ecosystems in balance. They are vital in promoting a healthy ocean. These dramatic seascapes formed over millions of years from the lava erupting from the seafloor. Look around. For miles, you will see hardened lava flows from these past eruptions. Once they meet the sea, the molten rock cools to build the islands you see today. Along the coasts of the islands are intricate cave systems formed after millennia. Creatures including green sea turtles and white-tipped reef sharks rest and hide inside these formations. Many native Hawaiian families acknowledge mano, or sharks, and honu, or sea turtles, as ancestors as part of their spiritual beliefs. Sharks and turtles are important to native Hawaiian culture and can be found in many traditions and customs, including songs, chants, and dances. Honu roam the Hawaiian Islands Humpback Whale National Marine Sanctuary in search of algae to graze on. But one thing these turtles can't avoid is algae growth on their own shells. They travel to their local cleaning stations for routine cleanups from butterfly fish and other local reef fish. The turtles keep a clean shell, while the reef fish get a free snack. Ocean stewardship is deeply embedded in the native Hawaiian culture. The sanctuary recognizes the importance of these cultural traditions and their relationship to the long-term health of Hawaii's oceans and to the protection of the kohola, the whale.
So there you go. Now you have, if you haven't visited a sanctuary, you've now visited one virtually. Again, we have 3 other experiences. I'm going to, we'll put the link into the chat, but let's do this word cloud. What is one word that resonates with you after watching this 360 video?
All right, so that word cloud has opened up. Let's see some of those responses start to jump in. And let's see what people are thinking after that video. All right, first one's coming in. It looks very positive so far.
I'm seeing the words awesome, stewardship, protection, turtles. Ooh, vast. I like that. Serene.
Peaceful.
Lots of great words.
That's great. I love it.
Awesome.
It was all those when we were filming. So here you'll see the photographs that represent the series as it stands now, and we have the intention of having more down the road, and our goal is to have a virtual reality experience or one or more for each sanctuary. You got to experience the top right with the sea turtles. In the other ones, you can also encounter a sea lion in Channel Islands National Marine Sanctuary. You can help conservationists outplant corals onto the struggling reefs of Florida Keys National Marine Sanctuary, and also take a tour of the Wilson Shipwreck in Thunder Bay National Marine Sanctuary. And I think the next slide, we're going to roll a highlight reel that kind of just shows a little teaser of the clips from each of the experiences. So here you'll see an experience with this playful sea lion that was checking out the camera rig. You just saw this turtle cleaning station, which was super awesome. Here you'll see divers exploring the DM Wilson Shipwreck in Thunder Bay National Marine Sanctuary. Oh, you already saw this one, the white-tip reef shark. And here you'll see someone from the Coral Restoration Foundation who is working to outplant staghorn corals onto the reefs of the Florida Keys. So be sure to go check out the other ones. It's super cool when you have your own phone or computer or a headset if you're lucky enough to experience these.
And
so one
Nick,
thing I do, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to have you explain the difference between the way that we've been watching them through this live interaction and the way that they can be watched.
Awesome. Yeah, so that one that we just watched was pre-recorded. So I kind of put your attention on the things that I wanted you to see. But when you actually go and view them, you'll get to choose where you look. You can look all the way around you. You'll even be able to look behind and see myself or Kate filming. So you get to choose where you're looking, and each experience is different. So definitely go check them out. And so here I really wanted to touch on some things about marine life viewing. I want to emphasize the importance of etiquette and touch on the rules and regulations in place for viewing some of this wildlife. There are 2 acts that are specifically protect wildlife in these instances, and they include the Marine Mammal Protection Act and the Endangered Species Act, and also the Hawaiian Islands Humpback Whale National Marine Sanctuary through the National Marine Sanctuaries Act also helps protect the humpback whales of that area. So you may view humpback whales from a distance of 100 yards, so do not approach closer. And that's under the Marine Mammal Protection Act. And you, as for green sea turtles, keep your distance 10 feet as a minimum, and never approach, chase, or try to feed these wild animals. And I can speak specifically to ethical wildlife filmmaking. I have not had the life-changing opportunity to film humpback whales, but when filming does take place for humpbacks and other marine mammals, you need to obtain the necessary permitting through NOAA fisheries and any other necessary permits. And as for filming animals such as the green sea turtles, or you'll see in the Channel Islands VR experience a sea lion, the animal's well-being is of utmost importance. As a filmmaker, I place myself at a respectful distance, careful not to approach or chase the animal. And then the animals dictate these interactions. And there are instances where they might approach you, especially with the sea lion, checking out your lights, or the turtles. And in these instances, I do my best to slowly move away and to give the animal space. And so I'm going to, in the chat, include more links to fisheries websites that will include more information if you're interested. So from there, we'll go to how do we make these videos? You might be asking, how the heck do we do this? So we use this weird looking camera. It's called a Boxfish 360, but there are multiple other cameras out there, even from, something more affordable to like a GoPro, the GoPro Max. Insta360 makes some. And, so you'll see you can do this in various ways, and we use these different techniques. We can place it on a tripod carefully in places and let it sit and let the animals kind of come by, especially when you leave it for a while. Animals will, come and check it out. That's like the turtle cleaning station. Or you can swim with it out in front of you, which we did with like the white tip reef shark instance when we saw it swimming across the reef. And then you'll see in the bottom right corner the other camera that we use for the top side, like the volcano, where you got to see the waves crashing along the Volcanoes National Park on Big Island, and that's the Insta360. And so we use that to film topside. And so if we go to the next slide, we will see once we film it, you have with the boxfish, you have 3 cameras specifically. And so we take those 3 cameras, each green circle represents a camera, and in our editing software, it stitches it together. And so you'll see that basically on the red lines, those are your stitches, and it's like sewing the footage together. Each green circle is a different camera, and you'll see that if you right now it's unwrapped like you would look at a map of the world. And it's called equirectangular. And then if we go to the next slide, we'll see another shot of equirectangular shot of the sea lion interaction. So this rectangular shot is all the way around 360. And when we upload it to, say, YouTube or to Facebook or to our website, or if you have an Oculus headset or some other type of headset, the video players wrap this rectangular footage to make it a sphere. So it's like you're swimming or you're standing inside of a sphere and you're looking to the edges of the sphere. And that's how you get to dive into the experience and look all around you. So you're basically swimming in the middle of a sphere and you don't even have to get wet. So it's super cool technology. We can't wait to have a VR experience for each sanctuary so you can see these incredible places from home. And here you'll see, our goal is to bring the sanctuaries to you. And our hope is that these virtual reality videos will inspire the next generation of ocean stewards. So with that, I think, yeah, okay, so we're gonna, let's go ahead, Hannah.
Yeah, I'm going to show you our new website. So like Joe mentioned, we just launched this on World Ocean Day. And so if you go to sanctuaries.noaa.gov/VR, you will be able to go to our virtual dive page. Another way of getting there is under multimedia, virtual dives. Here we have what you'll see playing is the sea turtles, but here we have all of our videos. So like Nick mentioned, we have the DM Wilson, the Hawaiian adventure we went on, the sea lion encounter, which we've also done with Exploring by the Seat of Your Pants. So if you're interested in learning more about that one, there's a live interaction recording on Joe's YouTube page, and as well as coral restoration in the Keys. We also have a collection of photographs of our national marine sanctuaries in 360 degrees. Since Thunder Bay was one of the places that we wanted to check out, I'll show you what it looks like to view a photo in 360 from a computer. So here I can use my mouse. Once the photo, there we go. And I can drag around and look at the shipwreck Defiance in 360 degrees. Now this is the same way that I could watch a 360 video on a desktop or laptop computer. The same goes for a tablet, but you're using your finger instead. And with a phone, you can actually use it in a way where you're holding it and looking around like that, all the way around you in 360 degrees.
And this is also super cool. Sorry. This is also super cool because, you know, I'm a scuba diver, but I can't technically go and dive this wreck because it's super deep. And so these 360 stills and videos can give you access to places that are otherwise unable to reach.
Right. And this link was dropped in the chat as well by Nick. So Nick, I'm going to also have you talk about what else came out with our launch on World Ocean Day with the multimedia.
Yeah, awesome. I need to shout out to the web team for making this beautiful website. It's an awesome experience. And so when you go to the photos and videos tab on the multimedia, you're going to see a lot of the resources that we have to offer. You can navigate to a specific site's webpage. I think we should go to Thunder Bay, Hannah. And each site has then all of our Earth is Blue videos, which we do one of those per week, so 52 videos per year. And so in Thunder Bay, if you look to the left column, you can see all of our Earth is Blue short videos, which are educational. If you want to learn about stuff or use them in the classroom, please do. In the middle column, I believe we have our Stories from the Blue, which are our documentary style videos. One of them is about Hannah, which before she started officially at Sanctuaries. So definitely check that one out. And then on the right side, we have all of our 360 assets. So you can see our videos and then all of the stills that we have to offer. And we're going to continue building this with the goal of increasing what we have to offer. So yeah, check it out.
That's
and you
great.
can go from site to site.
So next, I just want to see what Olympic Coast has for us. They have 362. So 360 in Olympic Coast. We have got documentaries there and Earth is Blue videos there as well. This is really cool. Great way for you to learn more about sanctuaries all through our videos. And then lastly, along with our 360 videos, we launched 360 lesson plans that go along with each of the videos. So we have these lesson plans are geared towards middle school students. So if you're an educator or if you are a student interested in learning more about sanctuaries after watching these videos, please check out these lessons. We have one that takes you through the National Marine Sanctuary System through using all of the 360 videos. And then we have sanctuary-specific lesson plans on each of the videos. So you can download the lessons here. It's sanctuaries.noaa.gov/VR/lessons. We're very excited to make these 360 videos even more immersive and bring you even closer to sanctuaries through learning more about them with these lesson plans. All right, so with that, I am going to show you again, just reiterate the ways that you can watch this. So you can use your cell phone and click on the video and watch it like this. You can also use your finger to scroll through. You can do what I showed you with clicking and dragging on the screen if you're watching it on a computer. And then these are also viewable on any type of virtual reality headset if you have the option to use one of those. Definitely the most immersive way is to watch it on a headset if you're lucky enough. But the other two ways work great as well and really get you to experience National Marine Sanctuaries. Here again, I'll leave this up for a second if you want to take a photo of this to get to our website with this content. The link is also in the chat.
I also included the lesson plans link in the chat as well.
Great, thank you, Nick. Oh, I didn't mean to click on that. And now we are open to questions. So Joe, I'm going to turn it back over to you to moderate the question and answers. And again, you can enter questions into the questions panel on the control panel within GoToWebinar, or you can go over to Slido and ask questions there. There's also the opportunity to upvote questions that you would really like addressed over in Slido. The more the question gets voted, the more likely Joe is to ask us that.
All right, absolutely. So, well, first of all, Hannah, Nick, thanks for a great presentation. Nick, it was so cool to dive in to one of the sanctuaries to see all those great resources that were just launched. And I have a feeling that filming them was pretty fun.
It was. This is definitely a cool job, and this is the coolest part of the job, is being able to film some of these. And actually, I would say the coolest part is seeing the reactions on people's faces when they see some of these experiences. So definitely check them out.
All right. So we see a nice polished piece, a finished product. How many hours goes into getting that out? From how much time you have to spend in the water to get all the footage you need, then the editing, and then it's ready to go?
Yeah, so this type of filmmaking, 360 or virtual reality filmmaking, is definitely time intensive, especially on the back end in post production, so in editing. The filming, when we're filming, we're a small team and we're trying to gather as much so that we can provide as much back to the public afterwards. So we're filming 2D or regular films alongside virtual reality. So on a dive, we have a few cameras down with us and we're kind of taking turns. And then once we obtain the footage, like the Hawaii video, that was specifically 3 or 4 dives. And then some topside footage at the national park. And then in post production, it takes a good amount of time. That one, it took on and off for a few months. So when we're exporting like a 1-minute clip, that can take about 3 or 4 hours to export, depending on the type of computer. And then you got to put the story together, which we work as a team on how we end with the site, Hawaiian Islands Humpback Whale, and the other sites to craft the stories that they want to tell. So.
All right. Well, I had a feeling that this question would come up. And someone in the Slido room wants to know, Nick, how can any advice for someone who wants to get into your line of work?
Yeah, definitely. There's a lot of ways to get into filmmaking, specifically, environmental or conservation type filmmaking. My background specifically, I have an undergraduate degree in biology, so I have a background in science, and then I went and I got my master's in film, in specifically, science or communications filmmaking. So, but you don't have to get your master's. You don't have to. The biggest thing I would say is everybody has a camera. Start filming. If you want to do some underwater, GoPros work great. I made a whole film with GoPros. Just start filming and start, practicing your storytelling. So that's the biggest thing, is telling stories and practicing.
All right. So this is coming up. This has come up a few times in the Slido as well. And this is almost more of a request. I think there's a lot who would love to see some orca, some killer whale action. So maybe something cool coming out of Olympic would be an exciting one to try and do.
That's definitely one with the whales. Lot of which is great that we have a lot of regulations in place, but definitely needed to go through the permitting process to do such a thing. So, but we would love to do that. Obviously, I mean, that would be amazing.
Yeah. So along those lines of, respecting the animals, keeping boundaries and such, someone is curious about what advice you would give if you're in the water and the green sea turtle, for instance, is approaching you. What would your advice be? Would it be move out of the way, or just kind of hold still and let the turtle do what it's going to do?
Well, I would say initially hold still, don't move forward, and then if it's approaching and getting too close, definitely slowly and very cautiously move away. Just try to let them dictate the interaction. Don't reach out and try to touch it or anything, and just really be respectful. If you're respectful, I think that's the best thing. You know what's best, and definitely just slowly moving away.
Yeah.
You're entering its home and moving
Exactly.
with, yeah, Nick, you did a great job answering that.
All right. So David's tuning in, and David is curious about other resources. Maybe if it exists, Hannah, you might know, or if it's planned.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if there's any videos where commercial fishermen talk about the benefits of the sanctuaries, how protecting an area leads to better catches and such.
Yeah, and so I think that a great resource for David to check out would be to go on over to the Florida Keys. And we have a ton of fishermen who are also ambassadors for the sanctuary that talk about fishing in sanctuaries and why sanctuaries are great. One of the videos I would highlight is Will Benson's Stories from the Blue. I would also look into the Blue Star Fishing Program. Nick, do you have any other ideas of videos that we might have, resources we might have that talk about fishing in sanctuaries?
I know. So as someone who goes out and films, and we definitely talk to all types of fishermen, from commercial to recreational fishermen. It's definitely a priority of ours to work with all of those people. definitely what Hannah said with the Florida Keys. I'm trying to, Kevin Brannon from the Channel Islands he's more of a recreational fisherman. He can, he runs a program, so definitely check that one out. But it is definitely, important to us to maintain partnerships with these communities that can, they help. We help each other. So yeah, we have a lot of resources for those.
All right, very cool. So another question coming in here, this one's from the Slido room. And Nick, they're really curious about one of your most exciting experiences while filming and, your favorite animal encounter, the coolest animal you encountered.
I love sharks. That's my favorite. So if I see a shark on a dive, that is a super successful dive. I wish that we saw more sharks. Definitely one of the coolest interactions, which you can go and experience yourself, is the sea lion encounter in Channel Islands. That was one of my most memorable dives. Sea lions are amazing. They are unpredictable and playful. And so especially keeping in mind, the letting them dictate the interactions, but that sea lion experience was amazing. So go and check it out yourself.
And I'm going to answer this question a different way. I grew up diving in Thunder Bay National Marine Sanctuary, and I think that there's nothing like diving on a shipwreck and taking a walk back or a dive back in time. So I really love shipwreck diving. So I'd encourage you to check out the 360 videos and photos that we have of shipwrecks and sanctuaries. I think they're pretty cool.
Definitely.
All right, very cool, great advice. Another question that came in is about tracking wildlife within the sanctuaries area. So what comes to mind, I know we talked a little bit about this when we did the Gray's Reef event that we did, but Hannah, can you think of some projects that relate to the tracking of wildlife?
Yeah, we have a seabird tracking project up in Stellwagen Bank National Marine Sanctuary that I believe uses citizen science. So that's one of them. And I know that the sanctuary system works with a ton of partners, both within NOAA and different universities, to track other types of wildlife across the sanctuary system, especially the humpback whales that migrate into Hawaiian Islands Humpback Whale National Marine Sanctuary, all the way up to Olympic Coast National Marine Sanctuary. So there's lots of projects on that as well. Nick, are you familiar with any?
I know, well, there's, a lot. I know the green sea turtles are a big one in Hawaiian Island humpback whale, the humpback whales themselves, the whale counting. So those are the couple that come to my mind.
All right. So here's an interesting question. This came from Elizabeth in the GoToWebinar panel. And Elizabeth is wondering if there's much difference in the way the sanctuary approaches, say, protecting marine life, or somewhere like Thunder Bay protecting shipwrecks.
That's a great question. So the National Marine Sanctuary System sets aside these boundaries to protect special marine ecosystems. Within those boundaries, management is set differently for different species and for different artifacts like shipwrecks. Some shipwrecks in different sanctuary sites have more regulations on who can visit it diving versus others where they're open access to everybody. So those restrictions and protections are set not from the National Marine Sanctuary System, but within other federal, state, and local partners.
And different sanctuaries, have different priorities. So for the Florida Keys, it's the coral reefs because, they're facing different challenges than, say, in Thunder Bay, where they really want to protect and preserve the maritime heritage that's there, the 200+ shipwrecks.
Yep, absolutely. Okay, let's see what else has come up in the Slido room. Okay.
Another species that's coming to my mind is the giant sea bass in Channel Islands National Marine Sanctuary. They're definitely monitoring that a lot. So, sorry, didn't mean to.
No, that's okay. Okay, so a question about just accessibility of the sanctuaries in general. Are they more accessible to snorkeling versus diving, or is it just kind of more dependent on where you are and the depths?
Yeah, that's a great question. I'm gonna approach the snorkeling one, and Nick, I'll let you talk about some of the sanctuaries that are better for diving. I know that I've gone snorkeling in Florida Keys National Marine Sanctuary and Thunder Bay National Marine Sanctuary and had incredible experiences. Thunder Bay offers shallow water shipwrecks, Florida Keys offers shallow water reefs. So both of those places are very great for snorkeling. I'm trying to think of other easily. Oh, I've also gone snorkeling in Channel Islands National Marine Sanctuaries within the kelp forest. So many of the sanctuary sites are very great for snorkeling. Olympic Coast, the water was too cold for me, but I had a great experience tide pooling there too. So you can experience sanctuaries with very little gear. Nick, do you
Yeah,
want to
I
talk
mean,
about diving?
yeah, so diving, I mean, obviously some are more technical, like Monitor National Marine Sanctuary, for example, is the technical dive. So you need to be, deep water tech certified. But like, diving in Florida Keys, the Thunder Bay has been amazing. Channel Islands, Hawaiian Island, Humpback Whale, it's all over the place. But speaking more towards accessibility, it's not just snorkeling and diving, it's going to the beach, it's going kayaking, it's even we have tons of things that citizen science can do, stewardship. So thinking more than obviously if you can snorkel or dive, please do. But there's so many other things that you can do.
All right, another question from the chat from Kathy, and she's in particular wondering about Stellwagen Bank, but I think we can ask this just in general. Is there things that people can do to help increase the boundaries of some of the marine national sanctuaries?
Yeah, so sanctuaries are often based off of the community itself making decisions on what areas are important. So they go through a designation process. They also can go through expansion periods, which a few of our sanctuary sites are going through now, where they take public comment. So if a sanctuary site is going through an expansion period, public comment and expressing your interest in the sanctuary expanding is definitely appreciated and something that you can do as a member of the public.
All right, very cool. Well, Hannah, I want to start off with a huge shout out to those who joined us live via the GoToWebinar today. I can tell there were some educators, some students. I think there was general public as well. So thanks so much for spending some time with us, sending in your questions, joining us in the Slido room, sending in questions, playing along with some of the live interactions. Always great to see people interested in protecting our ocean, especially this week, but every day. And then a huge shout out to Nick, a huge shout out to you as well, Hannah. Thank you. I mean, these sessions have been a ton of fun. Looking forward to more, and it was great to dive in 360. I've got my Google Cardboard. I know what I'm doing after this event. Hopefully others will join me.
Yeah, the
Thanks,
links
Jeff.
are again in the chat. So please take a look at all of our virtual reality resources on your own devices after this program. I wanted to highlight that we have run a series of programs with Exploring by the Seat of Your Pants that are all up on his YouTube channel. So that's Exploring by the Seat of Your Pants, and he has an entire playlist of NOAA's Office of National Marine Sanctuaries interactions. We are going to be moving forward with more programming with Exploring by the Seat of Your Pants. So stay tuned to live interactions from National Marine Sanctuaries in Exploring by the Seat of Your Pants throughout this summer. So we also have upcoming live interactions through our National Marine Sanctuaries webinar series. Now this webinar series is geared for educators on how to bring marine conservation and stewardship and science all into the classroom. So there is about a program maybe once a month to 2 times a month broadcasted from there. So please check out that link. I also wanted to highlight Exploring by the Seat of Your Pants, especially this week as they are doing so many ocean themes for World Ocean Day. So please continue to check out Exploring by the Seat of Your Pants. And then within NOAA, NOAA Ocean Today offers a once a month webinar on the full moon called Every Full Moon, which brings you into diving deeper into NOAA. So a whole bunch of ways that you can live interact with ocean science. And to conclude, I wanted to let you know that after we end today's webinar, you'll be prompted to take a very brief survey. And this survey helps us guide the programs that we will be choosing to do in the future, as well as the formatting and the ways that you will be using the information that you received today. It is highly encouraged and really helpful for us if you take just a few minutes to complete this survey, and we would prefer that only adults take this survey. So if you are a student watching, feel free to just close out after this program is done. And with that, I really want to thank Exploring by the Seat of Your Pants and Joe for bringing both Nick and I on to talk about our 360 media. The 360 team here at the Office of National Marine Sanctuaries has worked so hard to bring the sanctuaries to you and to make sure that they're resources that everybody gets to enjoy. So with that, I want to thank all of you for your interest in exploring the blue in Sanctuaries 360, and I really hope that you get to check out these resources on your own. All right, that concludes today's webinar. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.